Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be watching some entertaining dates from hell story times. I think we all have encountered some dates from hell. So I hope y'all enjoy. I'm not going to leave any commentary towards this at the end. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And if you have any crazy date stories, leave them in the comments. Enjoy.
The guy literally shoved the bill in my hand. I just moved to Ventura and I started dating again recently. Met this guy at a bar on St. Patty's Day. He was very sweet, very cute, very nice. He was like, I want to take you out, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. Next time you're nearby in Ventura, he lived like a little bit out of the way, but he worked here. Next time you're here, let me know. We can like try to make something work. He basically texts back with like, yeah, I'll be here Thursday. If it doesn't work, then let's find another time next week. First clue, I found out he was at the bar by himself. So sorry. It just gives me the ick. I'll be honest. I don't like when guys go to bars and it's like a party scene. It's, what are you doing? Why aren't you with friends? Just, to me, that gives me Dahmer vibes. And when it gives me Dahmer vibes, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. No. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try not to be so judgmental. I'm going to be a better person now. Be more open. My intuition is right every time. Why I question it at this point, I don't know. So I decide, okay, no, Maddie, like give him a chance, right? Today we're texting and I'm just like notorious with me. I'll be like into it that night. And then the next day I'm like, oh my God, why did I give this person my number? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I'm like, Maddie, we need to get past this. I just turned 28. We got to start being open to the idea of a man again. I make myself go on this date. Against my intuition, we're gonna give this guy a chance. Thursday comes and still has not like figured out a place. So I'm like, okay, let me know where to go. And he's like, oh, like I'll text you like after work. And you can just tell where a guy is with you. He seemed nervous. So I didn't feel like he was playing a game trying to make me wonder if it was gonna happen or not. So I gave him a little grace. By like 3 p.m., we were gonna get together around like 7. He was like, does the Ventura Harbor sound good? I'm like, great, haven't been there yet. Just moved here, let's check it out. But that's it. Doesn't give me a specific restaurant to meet him at. Remember that detail. So I'm like, okay, great, but where? Like, which restaurant? Where are we getting drinks? Like, where? Takes him a little bit of time to get back to me, and then he's like, okay, like Margarita Villa. Okay, great, fantastic. I will meet you there at 7. So I show up, and he's like, still super cute. I'm like, okay, thank goodness. It's like, I wasn't imagining it. He's like definitely shyer than me. I talk a lot, especially when I'm on a date with a guy that I can tell doesn't have much to say. So I just try to like fill the void. It's really not what I should do. I should just like let it be and let it simmer. But when they're quiet, I can't handle it. We sit down on the porch outside. We take our order. I get a lemon drop. He got a beer. The whole time it was actually a pretty good date. We get through like 2 hours on the date. We each get 2 drinks, got lemon drops, he got beers, whatever. At this point, like considering possibly going on a second date. Like he was getting there, but he said some really weird things and we were talking and kind of bonding over the fact that we both don't smoke weed. So great. He's like, it just makes me think like really weird thoughts. And he goes, does it make you think like really like weird, disturbing thoughts? I'm like, no, it more so just gives me like, makes me feel like I've cotton in my ears and I don't like it. What kind of thoughts are you having? I don't know, like just really personal thoughts, like things that like maybe I should like address and like maybe work through. And I'm like, what kind of thoughts though? Like scary thoughts? Or I'm like, you already gave me Dahmer vibes. What is coming out of you? And then he tells me, well, they're really personal. I don't really want to get into them. I don't really know you. And I'm like, dude, you brought it up. Of course I'm going to ask. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Like, that's fine. Don't tell me your deepest, darkest secrets. Like, please don't. Fast forward, like the whole date, other than that weird comment, was like pretty good. He's also 32, 5 years older than me. So keep that in mind. We go towards the end of the date. Like, okay, great. Like, let's go. You know, hey, can we get the bill? The lady brings the bill. Immediately, he had just gone to the bathroom like 15 minutes before this. Immediately, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You literally just peed like 10 minutes ago. You're going again after you ask for the check. And my freaking red flags are going off. It's a big deal to me. And I'm like, he's gonna stick me with this freaking bill, isn't he? So I'm sorry, I got a little petty because I'm like, no. I'm too busy to be spending my time with a guy that asks me out to go out with him and then sticks me with the bill. So I'm like, nope. I'm tired of that. It's just despicable to me. I understand there's some guys that want to do 50-50. I'm going to be honest with you. It gives me the impression that the person's not into me. So to me, I immediately lose interest. I'm like, okay, well, that's that. I get up and I'm like, well, I haven't gone pee all night. So I get a little petty. I'm like, I'm going to go pee too. So I go to the bathroom and I come back. He's sitting there. There's the bill's there with cash on top. I'm like, okay, great. He took care of it. Okay, great. So like, are you ready to go? And he grabs it and he goes, I don't know what to do with this. He shoves it in my face. I go, Do you want me to give it to the waitress? Like, what's going on? And as I say that, I look at the bill and it's just one $20 bill. And you know that 4 drinks in California did not just cost $20. He didn't even pay for half of the bill. Like, do you just want to split it? Not only did you just ask me if I wanted to split it, but you literally shoved it in my face. The lady comes back. Do you want to put the $20 in and then the rest on the card? She thought it was his card. It was not. I'm like, that's actually my card. And she's like, oh, okay, then 50-50. And then he had the audacity to ask me on a second date. What is wrong with men?
Story time. I went on a date with a very famous actor and it ended up being horrible. So we went out to eat at this really nice place in Miami, one of my faves. Everyone knows him. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. There's going to be no type of discretion. It was like the entire time people were in our face, looking, turning, watching. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. Anyway, we sit down, we have our table, we order food. And I don't even know how the conversation ended up here. But he starts talking about how he hates when girls wear Fashion Nova. Meanwhile, I'm wearing Fashion Nova. And I'm like, yo. So I'm too embarrassed at this point to even say anything. At the time, I work with Fashion Nova, like as an influencer. This is back before Instagram deleted my page, but whatever. I'm feeling really cute in my outfit, but I'm like, damn, sir. So we keep talking. We keep eating. The food was so damn good. I'm trying not to eat everything because I can eat a lot. And I definitely am a plate clearer. But my outfit was really tight and like a light color, kind of like a stretching material, where I was like, yo, if we do anything after this, I'm gonna look pregnant if I keep eating. So I slow down. So we start talking about family and his family dynamics and my family dynamics. And don't know again how this comes up, but I'm talking about my father and how we don't have a relationship, blah, blah, blah. How about this man starts telling me that I need to find a way for my father and I to be cool again. Sir, do you know this man? Do you know any of the reasons why we are not cool? Do you understand that there could be so many reasons, like he raped me, dropped the G, that we're not cool? Which he didn't, but either way, there could be a multitude of reasons that I'm not with him. And he was just like, oh, you know, a lot of times people's moms don't tell you the whole story of what goes on with your dad. And then before you know it, you have animosity for him and it's not even real. And I'm like, it's crazy to me that men will literally defend other men that they do not know whatsoever off of the strength of what's happened in their current life. So I'm just drinking more. I'm like, Lord have mercy, what is this date? And he is a little older than me, so he has that, like, I know what I'm talking about, like, slightly condescending manner that I can't stand. So I'm hitting him with a, shake your head, Jess, shake your head. Because if I say how I really feel, I'm gonna flip this table and dip. So I'm just like, stay pleasant, just get through this evening. And then it gets worse. I don't know how we end up here, but we start talking about Rihanna. This man starts telling me how much he loves Rihanna, how much he wishes he could date Rihanna, how much he would just do anything for her, how he's like a super fan and all that. And I'm like, bruh, who doesn't want to date Rihanna? She's a baddie, she's beautiful, she's from the islands. You done know all how to ting go. But can we not do that right now? Bruh. When I tell you this man, it went into strict and very definitive detail about Rihanna's appearance, about how classy she is, about how he felt like he would just suck her toes and just, it was insane. I knew I would never see him again after the date. I was like, yeah, this is dead. Like, we're never doing it again. I said to myself, it's so funny that a lot of women will think that dating men with status and dating these famous men is just gonna make life easier, when they don't realize that a lot of the times, not saying always, but a lot of the times when men have clout or they have money or they have some kind of status, they have their own crap going on in the background that you're probably going to find out about, and they just make it really hard to deal with. And they're not willing to see their own crap because in their mind they're perfect and they're a catch and you should be lucky to be here. But yeah, I never saw bro again. Negative 10 out of 10, would not recommend.
All right, so y'all tell me if I'm tripping. So I went on a date with this boy that I met a few weeks ago. We had been talking for at least 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And the day of the date comes, so I'm excited about the date or whatever. And I'm getting ready to leave my house, so he texts me, he drops the location of the restaurant, which is like a Mexican restaurant, because we decided on Mexican food. So I get to the location, there's nobody in the parking lot, it looks like an empty, abandoned food truck. And I Google it, and the restaurant is no longer open to the public. It's closed. Like, the business is closed, permanently closed. So now I'm pissed off, and the hairs on the back of my neck standing up because my whole body is getting hot because I'm aggravated now because I done left my house, and you didn't even take the time to do enough research to find out whether this restaurant is even open or not today for me to even drive all the way there. So I text him, I'm like, did you not know that this restaurant was closed? Like, did you not do your research? Like, I'm not understanding. He talking about something, say you swear. So now I'm aggravated because, like, you're pissing me off. I'm finna go back home because I don't have time for this. I literally, like, got dressed after I got off work. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've been working all day. And you don't have your shit together. And you didn't even take the time to make sure that you planned this appropriately. So now I'm pissed off. So he was like, don't worry. I got another place that we can go to. So he sends me this new location, which is, like, not even 10 minutes from my house. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to drive there. And he better hope when I pull up to this restaurant that it's open. Or it's going to be 2 sad days. So I get to the restaurant. He asked me where I was at. I said, I'm pulling in now. He's like, come park next to me. Aggravated number 1. Because why do you want me to park next to you? I'm not understanding. We're not in high school. So I was like, can you get out your car so I can see where you are because I don't see you or whatever. He was like, so you're not going to park next to me? I'm ignoring that question because we're not children, sir. I'm not going to park next to you. Like, please. So I end up getting out the car. He ends up getting out the car, but he ends up calling me. He calls me. He was like, is everything okay? You sound aggravated and this, that, and the third. I'm just like, I took a deep breath in, took a deep breath out, and I already immediately knew when I seen him walking up that I was not going to talk to him no more, but I just had to see it through. Okay, so y'all, we're going on a date to a Mexican restaurant, right? So my outfit, I don't know if I didn't take no pictures the other day, but I had on a cute little classy outfit. I had on platforms. Like, I was cute. I made sure I was presentable. My hair was done. You know, I did my eyebrows, did my lashes. I was cute for the first date. This nigga had on a wife beater with his chest hair out, and he had on coochie cutters. And I'm not exaggerating when I say he had on coochie cutters. I mean, he had exactly that. They were tight and they were short. It looked like he was going to Pilates or he was going to a yoga class. So I immediately questioned him. I'm like, why did you choose to put that on? He was like, because I wanted to. So now the only thing I can think in my mind is that you didn't care enough to even make sure that you look presentable. You didn't smell like cologne or fresh bath or fresh soap. You smelled like wet quarters and duck sauce and earring backs. Like, you didn't even try to make sure that you smelled nice. You didn't try to make sure that you looked the part. Like, you could have at least put on some jeans and a polo or a t-shirt. I would have been okay with a t-shirt. But you getting out the car with a wife beater, coochie cutters on, crew socks, and athletic shoes like you're finna go to a Pilates class is crazy work. I'm confused because I'm trying to figure out where we're going. We're literally going into a public place with all these people in here, and you got on literally little to no clothes. You might as well just walk in there with no clothes on at this point, because literally that's what you have on. No clothes. So I'm embarrassed to even have to walk in a restaurant with him because he looks crazy. Like, the whole, as a unit, we just look off. Together walking in a restaurant, we just look off. We look crazy as hell. So y'all let me know if I'm tripping for blocking him and cutting him off, because I'm just at this point, I'm just in disbelief that you even decided. So part 2 of the dates from hell. So pretty much picking up where I left off, but kind of going back a little bit so you guys have a better understanding. Earlier in the day, about an hour, maybe 2 hours before we were supposed to meet, he texted me and he asked me for my address. So I immediately declined. I'm not providing you my address. I don't know you well enough to give you my address, nor do you need to know where I lay my pretty little head at night. So you can just meet me there. I'm driving my own vehicle, so I can leave on my own terms. Because when it's time to get the fuck on, it's time to get the fuck on, period. So we moved past that. We ended up saying, okay, I'll see you soon. Boom. So when he gets out the car, I immediately noticed that he's a lot shorter than what he insinuated. He told me that he was 6 feet. I'm 5'3". I had on platform sandals. So when you got out the car and walked towards me and we are eye level, you are every bit of 5'6", 5'5". You're not even close to 6 feet. So that's number 1. Like, you're a pathological liar at this point. Number 2,
he decides to park off in the cut by the dumpster behind the restaurant, secluded, so where no one could see you. So I was confused because I watched him walk from that far. I was trying to figure out, why would you park way back there, and why were you so tight on me wanting to park next to you? Not understanding that, but it gave off very weird, so I was like, no. So we ended up walking into the restaurant. He opens the door. We're looking at the menu, trying to decide what we want to eat. I didn't see anything that I liked, and I think it was partially because I was already pissed off and I just didn't want to see anything that I liked, and I really didn't want to be there. But I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, because I was trying to see if he was going to give himself an opportunity to clean it up, to correct his wrongs, and just trying to, move forward. No. So we ordered the food. He pays for the food. I proceed to go try to find somewhere to sit. They had like a little cute booth/table situation going on with a little backdrop. I thought it was really cute, so I went and sat on the booth side. He walks all the way over there and sits his ass directly next to me, like close enough to where I was uncomfortable. So I scooted all the way over. I proceeded to get up, and I was going to sit in the chair portion of the table. He was like, oh, you didn't want me sitting next to you? I said, no, not really. But I mean, okay, I understand we're trying to get to know each other, but I don't really know you like that. And I think your behaviors that you have already exhibited to me were a little bit off-putting, weird, and unnecessary. And so he was like, well, okay, I understand. Still haven't apologized. So we ended up making enough room between us where there a whole nother person, maybe 2 people, could fit in between where we were sitting at. And the food comes out. I'm starting to eat. I'm enjoying the taco. I only ordered 1 taco, and it was about this big. I ordered 1 taco, and he's tearing his food up. I mean, he's eating like he haven't ate in days. Sauce dripping down his face, and then he starts to burp. He starts to burp, and he burps, and he continues to burp out loud without saying excuse me. So I look off into my peripheral out the corner of my eye, and I said, so you're not going to say excuse me? You're just going to keep burping? He was like, my bad, it's the drink. That drink got me burping. I don't know what's going on. In my mind, I'm saying, child, you don't even know. I'm so happy in my decision. I'm so happy that I only came here for the food. Because at this point, nothing else that's happening right now is helping your case. So then we finish eating. They come get the food. He proceeds to start talking to me about how he's in the police academy, which I already knew that. And he ended up getting kicked out, but they asked him to resign instead of terminating him from the police academy so that he could at least try to find employments, or he could at least finish his classes at another academy. He starts giving me the sob story about how he just don't understand. And I said, well, why did they say that they wanted you to resign? He was like, oh, well, because I was late every day. I was supposed to be in line at 6:40 and I was getting there like 7:15, 7:20. I said, okay, so that's a valid reason. Next, what else? Because I was falling asleep in class. So not only are you a pathological liar, weird, psychotic, and you're annoying, and you're gross, you're also irresponsible. Like, it just get. And so all of the things that he's describing to me is just really helping me stand firm in my decision, because my decision was already made when you sent me to the incorrect location. My decision was made when you came up here looking like Huckleberry Finn with this crazy outfit on and these crew socks in the middle of the afternoon and it's 85 degrees in Florida. My decision was made when you decided to burp out loud and not say excuse me. My decision was made when you articulated to me that you got kicked out of the police academy but decided to resign instead so that you could try to find another academy to finish off your classes for, and you were intentionally late and not trying to work on time management. Like, it just kept getting worse. So as he's talking to me about his sorrows and his trials and tribulations, he tries to pick my leg up from underneath the table and place my leg on top of his leg. That was my cue, and that's when I got the hell out of Dodge. I got up, I said, hell the fuck no. I grabbed my food, I grabbed my purse, my keys, and my Sprite, and I went right up that door. He was already blocked. His number was blocked when I got to the parking lot. But just for security reasons, I went ahead and changed my number anyway, so that we wouldn't have any further contact. Because at this point, there's no need for me to contact you. And there's sure as hell no need for you to be contacting me. I have nothing to say to you. You have nothing to say to me. You had an opportunity to get it together. I gave you an opportunity. And that it is what it is. Your free trial has expired. Thanks for your time. I'm done with it.
I went on the worst date of my life last night, and I got catfished before. So if this is the worst date of my life, that said a lot. First of all, I tell my homegirl, I'm like, I really don't feel like going on this date. And she like, girl, he just graduated PA school. He is a doctor. You're going on this date. I tell him I do not like bars. I like hookah bars, hookah lounges, but I don't like bars. That's not my vibe. He takes me to a bar, and immediately I'm like, and he's like, oh, is this not your vibe? Let's go somewhere else. And we end up at a place that I know, a spot that I know that I like. Immediately, he puts his arm around me and starts taking pictures with me like I'm his wife, like I'm his woman. Mind you, this is my first time meeting this man. He is literally taking pictures of me, with me. So I'm annoyed, and I'm like looking at him like, that's weird. And he's like, what's weird? I said, it's weird that you're taking pictures of me and with me. I don't know you like that. Like, I don't. Homeboy has an attitude. He's just like, oh, that's weird? Okay. Like, he's big man. Like, big man. So the man comes to take our order for drinks. I order my drink. My go-to is lychee martini. So I order it. Then he doesn't know what he wants. So my drink comes out and he's like, oh, can I taste? I'm like, sure. And there's no straws. So he's like mouth to glass on my drink. So he's like, oh, this is really good, and orders the same exact thing. So of course when his drink comes out, I'm like, here, you take my drink, I'll take this one. I think that's fair, y'all. I personally think that's fair. But homeboy is even bigger mad. Like, he wanted me to drink off of his mouth, and I don't know why. So I'm just feeling uncomfortable. It's just weird. Conversation's going, but he's just doing too much. So by now his words are slurring. He's a little tipsy. He's like on his second, third drink. Words slurring. He's asking me the same questions that he not only asked me through text, but asked me literally 2 minutes ago. And I'm just like, it's time to go. So the question he keeps asking me is what type of men I like. And I continue to tell him, I already told you I like confident. Oh, I'm confident. I look good. I know I look good. And he's from New York. So if you know New York men, it's that type of New York man. Fast forward through a whole lot of uncomfortableness, he forces himself to hold my hand while we're walking to my car. 10 years later, we make it to my car, finally. He's asking me if I had a good time, if I think that we'll be able to go out to meet again. I'm not a fan of pissing men off, especially when there's no one else around, so I'm like, we'll talk tomorrow. And then he tried to kiss me.
Hi, so I'm going to go into exactly what happened, what was said, and why I was so hurt. So, I started dating this guy about fall, so like November or so, and on the first date, he was asking hobbies, as one does, and I said I make videos on TikTok for fun, like it's a hobby for me, and he's like, oh, like what is it? And I said food and like recommendations. He's like, oh, I don't have social media. I deleted all my social media, so I never knew about that, but that sounds cool, and like that's interesting. And as we're going on like more dates, I dated him for like 3 to 4 months, he was like, oh, I thought of this, when I saw this restaurant, I thought of you and I wanted to email them to you, or you should send a collab email or whatever, just like feeding into like, oh, like I know you like this, I thought of you, I saw this restaurant, you should email them, so stating that it was fine. And then one of our like serious like 2-3 months in dates, we went to somewhere in downtown Oakland, and as we were walking, this girl passed us and she was like, oh my god, you're such an icon, I love your content, like please keep like something like that, and it was in front of him. And he's like, oh my god, this is, I would never say this about myself, just letting you know. He was like, oh my god, I didn't know I was dating Beyonce. I was like, please, like I'm no, like that it was nice, but I'm not gassing this up. You heard it, it happened in front of you, that's what it is. And then he's like, oh my god, I didn't know that's who I was talking to, like in a good, like making me feel good, but I also don't really like being showered compliments in that way, so I was like, oh god, this is uncomfortable. Never brought it up again. And then earlier this month, we went on our final date, and I did not know it was gonna be the final date. We go out, things are normal, we get food, we're talking, recapping about like my past weekend, his past weekend, things like that. And then after he's about to drop me off to my car, or at least I thought I was going to pick up my stuff in my car to go with him after, he was like, can I be honest? I'm like, yes. I hate when people say that, because just say what you're going to say. And he's like, I don't agree with your lifestyle, you're out all the time, your face is on posters, I feel like you secretly enjoy when people come up to you. I'm like, where is this coming from? Like there was never any, this video is getting longer than I wanted it to be, but there was never any like hints that he was bothered by it, besides him not having social media, because again, he would send me places I should email. And when I did my Galentine's event, I was like, oh, here's me and my Galentine's, like I was really nervous, but it went well. It's like I knew it would go well, so like he knew I did things like that. So it was literally like, it was not a conversation or a discussion, it was just he decided that, and I was like, okay, like it wasn't even like oh, I saw the sign, like it was just out of nowhere. So for him, sure, that's the decision he made. I respect it, because you know everyone has their reasons for ending things, but I was not prepared for it. I felt very blindsided. It was literally after the date that we had like a really nice one, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna hang out after this, this is a good date, it's like it's going well, and at the very end it was just cold, like changed personality after that. And I said, that okay, like that, you're using my TikTok, my going out and posting about it against me as a reason, but we never even had a discussion to be like, this is a problem, I don't like this, blah blah. This video again is super long now. I wanted it to be like a minute, but I needed to like explain everything to see like where I just don't understand what went wrong. And I started to question like, oh my god, do I make videos? Like is someone else gonna be like, oh fuck, I don't want to talk to her, I don't know, because she makes videos and she's out. Even when I'm out, I'm not even flirting or dancing with guys. I'm not being belligerent and needing to get Ubered home. I have maybe one drink. Everyone knows me as the mom when I go out. So I'm like, is it a problem with me going places? I was like, you can come with me if you want to. He's like, I don't want to. I was like, oh, that was when he ended that. That's the way he says, like, I don't want to go with you. I was like, oh, okay, that's that. So that's the story. I very much internalized everything, and it was like, if this is going to be his reason, will this be a reason for another guy?
So what's up, TikTok? I'm here with a story time about the time I traveled from my hometown city, the city I live in, to go to another city to celebrate my birthday, and I was meeting up with a guy that I met from Hinge. So this was back in last year. We're gonna start back last year in late August of 2022. So I had been on Hinge for like a year at this point, like on and off, because I had heard good things about Hinge and it was a little bit better than TikTok. So I'm like, you know what, let me try out Hinge. I ended up matching with this guy. He was very attractive, very well dressed, and you know, when we tried like messaging on the app, it just wasn't, it was like we was missing each other, because I really wasn't on Hinge like that. Like I would like go on there maybe like at night when I was bored, and I would like a few profiles, and then I get off, and then I'll probably do the same thing again when I'm like bored. So we just kind of came to the agreement like, hey, we keep missing each other, like, what's your Instagram? And I'm like, okay, so here's my Instagram. I think at first he asked for my number, but I gave him my Instagram because I'm like, you know what, I'm not finna just give you my number just up front like that. Like, I'm gonna give you my Instagram, we can talk through Instagram, because I am always on Instagram, and if it seems like something where you serious, then I'll give you my number. So it went just like that. We followed each other on Instagram, and you know, from the beginning he had kind of preached about like how he's gonna be consistent until we meet. Now mind y'all, back in July of last year, I went to this particular city and I said, you know what, I'm having so much fun, I'm going to come back for my birthday in November. So it's just kind of crazy how the next month later, me and him matched and we talked the whole time. So like the whole 2 months, because my birthday is in November. So late August to early November, that's about 2.5 months. Now throughout us talking, there was red flags, I'll be honest. And he was a police officer. So it was red flags of him being impatient, him having a little bit of anger issues. But I kind of brushed it off because it was just more of him just being impatient. But I should have followed my gut, because he also had anger issues, because he had been through a lot. He had seen a lot growing up, and he kind of had a rough upbringing. So fast forward to like November. I traveled to where his city or whatever for my birthday trip. And we were in agreement that we were going to go on a date. Now, first of all, he showed his on this date. Stay tuned for part 2. He lost his anger and why I never date a police officer again. Okay, part 2. I'm gonna try to make this quick. So, let's fast forward. So me and him had been talking for about 2.5-3 months. He was like I said, he was showing signs of being impatient, but not signs that he had an anger issue. But most of the time when somebody is hella impatient, that means they got anger issues. FYI. So fast forward to my I got to his city on a Friday. And I got there pretty early, so I had got transportation from the airport to where I was staying. Now, he had like a whole agenda of things that he wanted us to do. Now, prior to me getting there, he had sent me like a screenshot of like a hotel room bed before I had got there, and was like, I was thinking that we can end our night this way. And I was just letting him know, I'm like, what, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I am open to meeting you. I'm excited to meet you. But if you are looking for like some type of exchange at the end of the night, like, I'm not going to do that. And I just want to let you know now that if you are looking for sex, then like this is not going to work, because I'm not set on having sex with you, because this will be our first time meeting up. And plus I have my own hotel room, which at the time I told him that I had a couple of cousins staying with me, which was a lie. So, I'm just like, no, I just don't want to do that. Fast forward, I was very hesitant on, fast forward, I get there, I get checked into my hotel. Now, fast forward, I just thought that, maybe if I like walk down the street from the hotel and have him pick me up from the hotel for our date, and this whole agenda that he got for us, and because I didn't want him to know where I was staying. Mind you, he is a police officer. So he was like, as we were texting while I was at the hotel, like he kept trying to guess where I was at, and I just was not giving him the name. At the time of the date, I just ended up giving him the address. Now mind y'all, the reason why I did not want to give him the name of my hotel, because I just did not want him to know where I stayed, like, period. And it was so this was during like fall/winter time, so this is around like after daylight savings, so where it was getting dark at like 4:45, 4:30, and our date was at 7. It was just extremely too dangerous for me to be trying to walk down the street and have him meet me down the street. So I just gave him the address. But then when he pulled up, he was very irritated with the fact that I didn't give him the name of the hotel. But that's neither here nor there. He picks me up. I get in the truck. I get in the truck. He pulls out a bouquet of flowers out the back seat. I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to go a little bit good. You know what I'm saying? But once we get to the restaurant, he started being really, really rude to the waiter. And I just didn't understand why. Now, mind you, we're at a Mexican restaurant, and it's more like Americanized, but it was a lot of Hispanic workers. But he was just being real rude, and even mentioning how he might not tip because of the customer service being bad. I've been trying to make this hella time, so I just want to get to the point. So basically, we leave the Mexican restaurant. Now, while we were at the restaurant, he did order like a birthday sparkler. So he did some nice things, but like he just was really mean. And I did mention to him like, bruh, you mean. And his response was, I'm not mean to you. So that just tells you right there. So we leave the Mexican restaurant. We go to this establishment. The establishment that we go to has like multiple bars in there. And it's really, really nice. It's more of like a little upscale, like bougie vibe. But it was cool. So we went in there. We ordered some drinks. And the drinks was good. He ended up getting an attitude with the first bartender because the first bartender was not moving fast enough for him. So we ended up going to one of the other floors to order some drinks and enjoy, because each and every bar had like a different vibe to it, right? So we ended up going to the lower level bar in the establishment, and we was cool for that night. Like, we was not for that night. We was cool for like an hour or two. But then after a few drinks, he proceeds to bring up that, like, dang, like, you straight, like, you're drinking and you're about to go back to your hotel, like, by yourself with your cousin, like, basically, like, do you not feel no type of way when you drink? And I reassured him, like, yes, I'm a woman, I have sexual urges, but I told you what it was, so it's really not on me. I told you what it was, and you had a decision to make there. So night goes on. It's time for us to leave. Now, one thing that I left out is when we first got there, he kind of gave me a little bit of a mini tour of the building without giving me a mini tour, because he was going around saying hi to all the security officers that he knew. And mind you, the whole night, for the most part, when we were walking together, I was holding his hand, because he just wanted me to hold his hand. So we're getting ready to walk out. And there's a security officer by the door that he knows. And he's like, you alright, he's saying his little bye, like, I'll see you later, bruh. And there's a revolving door to get out of the building. So, and he walks in front of me and puts his arm back for me to grab his hand. Now, I have been drinking. It is hot. I don't want to hold your hand. I've been holding your hand all night. And it wasn't to be mean, but it was just like, I just kind of put my hand to the side. And then as soon as we got on the sidewalk, he screamed to the top of his lungs, like, what? Just cussing at the top of his lungs to the point that everybody is looking at us. So at this point, I'm like, look, I can take my things out your car and we don't have to talk. I can Uber home. You dangerous, da 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 da. So I get in the truck, because I'm like, you gonna take me home? You gonna take me to the hotel? He like, yes, you gonna get there safe. Like, just attitude, just yelling the whole time. And then when we finally got to the hotel, I'm like, hey, like, what just happened? And he kind of gave me the ultimatum, like, if you...
We pull up to the hotel. Now, mind y'all, we were arguing the whole car ride. We were arguing the whole entire car ride. At one point, somebody side swipes his car, but they like put like a little bitty scratch on it. So I think they were trying to pull out of a parking space, and he was like parked right there. So he yelling about that, and then he yelling at me, and I'm like, you don't understand what you yelling at me. You don't know what the fuck I've been through. He's like, you don't know what the fuck I've been through.
Which, to his defense, he did experience something really traumatic the year prior. And then after that became a police officer. So he wasn't even a police officer for a year. So honestly, people were like, don't date police officers, don't date police officers. It was just particularly him. Like, he had been through so much shit, and he's never sat down and went to a therapist. And I told him, like, you need to go to a therapist. So when he ends up dropping me off, I told y'all in the last video, I had a reflection moment, like, wow, we argued this whole way here. It was only like a 10 to 15 minute ride, but I'm like, the type of person I am, like, I don't like conflict like that. It could be whatever it's gonna be, but I don't like conflict. So me just reflecting, like, hey, like, what just happened? And he was like, you got me spending money. Like, you just work a whole fucking night? You didn't take your fucking flowers with you? I'm just like, whoa. A man like that, ladies, be careful, be mindful. Let's talk about how I was about to be in DeKalb County Jail. So I had a breakfast date. He made my hair stand up, y'all. Like, he got me heated. So date is going great. Conversation is actually really good. And he goes with this little laugh. Why you lie on the dating app about your height? Who, me? He was like, yeah. I said, I don't have to lie about my height. I know I'm a tall girl. And he was like, but you told us that you 5'7". Now pull it up, because I ain't never did that in my life. He pulls it up, and I said, back it up, back it up, back it up. That's not me. You're not on the date with this chick. He was like, oh, my bad. You right. Red flag number 1. Number 2, we're done eating, and we're just kind of talking. And so he goes and say, I got a serious question for you. He was like, you're a woman in your late 30s, and okay, you don't have to remind me that, but he was like, why don't you have kids? And I was like, well, I just want to have kids with my husband. I grew up with both of my parents, and just giving him my values, my beliefs, and all the good stuff. So he goes say, oh, okay. And he was like, he gets closer like this. He was like, so are you sure it's nothing wrong with anything down there? I said, down where? He was like, down there. He was like, most women in their late 30s, don't tell us that something is wrong with down there. I said, call 911, because I'm about to F you up. And you ain't even got to worry about having kids, because you don't have kids yourself. So the audacity, okay, of Atlanta men. I'm not gonna say all of them like this, but don't ask no woman why and keep doing it, nitpicking. That just pissed me off for today. You don't tell me I lie about my height. I'm 5'9", and you talking about why I don't have kids. Something must be wrong down there. 0 out of 10, and I went on lunch early for no reason. What would y'all done? Y'all would have beat him up, because I felt like I should have been in jail right now.